Will Nia now be able to escape the clutches of Amanda Waller, even if it means coming to blows with her teammates on Task Force X? Well, topping the pages of Suicide Squad Dream Team issue number 2 and find out together, shall we? So then, picking up directly from where the last issue left off, Dreamer and a ragtag team of supervillains and anti-heroes were sent to the island nation of Gamora in an attempt to liberate it from insurgents. Only here's the problem. In a twist that will shock absolutely no one, Amanda Waller wasn't telling her team the whole story. There are no insurgents on the island, the team is actually fighting the military. And this whole operation was part of a much bigger land grab coup, one that ended up spiraling almost as soon as it started, with Bizarro, always doing the opposite of what people think, got mad at the idea of being painted as a villain and as such flew away. Now, I questioned in the last issue why Waller didn't just blow up his head for insubordination. Well, there actually is an answer for that, and it's one I certainly didn't see coming. You see, while we as the reader thought that Dreamer was leading this operation, in reality it was actually Clock King who was in charge from the get-go, which makes sense considering that, at first glance, his skill set doesn't exactly seem necessary when it comes to regime change, only it turns out he was actively manipulating everyone from the start as Waller told him everything. And because this dude is so organized and so precise, he moved around the other members of his team like a fine Swiss watch. He knew that Black Alice in her youthful exuberance would cause Bizarro to freak out, which is exactly what he did, and in his rampaging, he took the team exactly where they needed to go. The control center for Gamora's shield. Again, was that a needlessly complex and layered plan? Sure was. But honestly, I'm just here happy Clock King got to do something. In fact, this whole plot reminds me very much of the Suicide Squad episode in Justice League Unlimited. Now that Dreamer knows just how rotten this mission was from the get-go, she's not having any of it, and backed up by Harley Quinn, she actively turns against her own Suicide Squad team and tries to stop them. Unfortunately, this does not go well for her at all because, well, there's a lot of them and just one of her. She ends up getting choked out by Outlaw Bizarro, which is of course the worst thing to do to a woman who has the power to control dreams. Because after losing consciousness and being put to sleep, she basically just ends up poofing away from all the danger. Not that Amanda Waller herself is complaining. As far as she's concerned, a win is a win. She touches down and starts laying down the law with the rest of her team, especially her young nephew Archie, who is getting all in her face about sending him on such a messed up mission. Again, if you'll remember, Archie had actually tried to assemble his own team to kill his aunt during the events of a Beast World tie-in that I didn't actually read, but don't worry, it's not important because Waller was always on top of what Deadeye was doing, and just kind of slaps the idea out of his head before directing Bizarro to go get Gamora's President Nakamura and her family under control, which of course extends to Jay Nakamura, Jonathan Kent's boyfriend. Now, you're probably out there wondering to yourself, if Dreamer abandoned the mission and turned on her team, what's stopping Amanda Waller from blowing up the bomb in her head? Well, it seems that a bomb was never actually the carrot on the end of the stick that the wall was using to control Dreamer. Instead, it was threatening Nia to release the existence of Parthos, her alien adopted community. In fact, that's exactly what Waller does, and as we can see from watching a few news clips, it's actually created one hell of a political firestorm. People are terrified that a secret alien community could exist in their own backyard. They are angry at their politicians for not knowing and or keeping the information from them until right now. Even anti-alien terrorist groups like Blue Earth are amassing outside Parthos right now with plans to do harm, and honestly, I'm surprised Blue Earth is even still around as an organization after in the pages of the Superman book it was revealed that their leader was herself actually an alien visitor from another dimension. But hey, these are racists we're dealing with. They're not exactly the shiniest pennies in the fountain, are they? Now, when Amanda Waller ends up falling asleep after a long day of doing bad, she ends up getting trapped in a nightmare. One with more than a few elements pulled from her real life. We see her deceased husband, Joseph, growing more and more angry and disillusioned with his wife once he learns that she's going out of her way to work with a clearly corrupt politician if it can mean furthering her career. This seemingly being the moment in time that a younger, more idealistic, more hopeful Amanda Waller lost her hope and ended up moving into darker shades of gray when it comes to personal morality. And because this is obviously a dream created by Dreamer herself, I find the end of this nightmare rather interesting as Waller reaches out and it's implied that she she either killed Joseph, or that by her actions their relationship was basically dead from that moment onward. Isn't dream logic fun? Now, why is Naya doing this? Well, it should be obvious. She's trying to appeal to the last shred of humanity that still might exist in Amanda Waller by showing her that every time she's gone to greater and greater lengths to get what she wants, people end up getting hurt around her, innocent people. Even the people close to her, but no, the Wall is more resolute than ever now about her brand new course of action. In fact, she basically tells Dreamer the exact same thing that she told Green Arrow over in that book. How after traveling to Earth 3 during the events of the previous Suicide Squad run really ended up changing the way she saw the world, and especially metahumans. How at any minute any one of them could turn rogue, and at that time it would ultimately end in a battle between people with powers and people without powers. And how everything she's been doing is actively to try and safeguard the non-powered people. In fact, even revealing the existence of Parthos wasn't even just to hurt Dreamer, but was to also undermine the public's trust in their governments. Much like how Waller has been trying to undermine confidence in the superhero community over in the Titans book. Clearly, she's trying to clear the way for her true masters in the light, the people who actually brought her back from Earth 3 in the first place. Waller's also certain she has nothing to fear from Dreamer, because if she was willing to go that little extra step and kill someone, she would have done it by now. Though maybe the Wall is also talking a bigger game than she wants to let on to Naya, because when she does wake up, she starts double fisting wake aids. Meaning maybe she actually does fear that she's made an enemy of Dreamer and isn't sure when she might strike at her next as the comic comes to a close. And so that was Suicide Squad Dream Team issue number 2, everybody, and ultimately I thought this was a bit of a weird one, kind of a mixed bag if I'm gonna be honest. Feels like issue 1 sold us on the premise of Dreamer joining the Suicide Squad and being forced to take part in a morally dubious mission, but that this second issue just kind of blows up that premise completely and starts a brand new one, where now Dreamer must defend her marginalized community from a federal government gone mad. Don't get me wrong, that's certainly a timely and topical concept for a comic book story, one that I'm sure probably hits home with Nicole Maines, the writer, yet at the same time, at only 4 issues, we're already halfway done. Also, despite this book being sold as a prelude to the Absolute Power event that would give us more time to spend with Amanda Waller, get inside her head and learn about her motives, really so far she's just kind of repeated herself. And 2 issues in, I feel like I haven't learned anything new that I didn't already know from reading Green Arrow or Titans, the 2 other big books that are leading us into Absolute Power. For what it's like though, I do enjoy this exploration of Dreamer. I do love this idea of her trying to get into Waller's head and weaponize her own dreams against her in an attempt to get her to see the light. Hell, I even like the reminder that Waller used to be married once upon a time. It feels like writers never even bother to use that part of her character anymore, and I hope we do get to see some of that in the next 2 issues, which I'll definitely be picking up. I just hope the next 2 issues are a little bit more substantial than this one was, which is why I can really only give it a 6.5 out of 10.
Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel again, thanking you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not check out my Amazon link down in the description. Yes, that's right, the Cape Joel channel officially has its own Amazon storefront now. You can pick up a comic or anything else for that matter, and if you did, you'd really be helping me in the channel. So with that out of the way everyone, I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.